Hey everyone, welcome to my library. My name is Melissa, and today I am filming a giant book haul. This is an accumulation of books basically from when I had my baby in November till now, which is June 2024. So over 7 months of books now, so it's a lot, but that's my justification. So anyways, it's been one I've wanted to film for a while now. And if you can't tell by the random noises in the background, yes, my baby is playing on the floor next to me. So if you hear grunts or random voices or what have you, I was hoping to film this and today just because I wanted to, and we're just gonna work with the situation. Before I get into the books, I also wanted to repeat kind of what I already posted about in my community post about Scott Bryant's passing. This happened this past week on Tuesday. I was devastated when I heard about it. I heard about it through Steve Donahue's video, and then Becky also made a video talking about it, and then asking for help via a GoFundMe for all of the mounting costs that come with a loved one dying, especially out of the blue and with someone who was not employed or didn't have life insurance. But yeah, long story short, I just wanted to tell Becky that I love her and that I'm thinking of her and that this is heartbreaking. And I read Frankenstein with Scott in January of this year, and it was such a fun time with him to read that book. He had so many good insights, and it oddly feels so, I can't think of the word for it, but Frankenstein, the book, is all about the quality and value of life and what that means. It's a very deep book about that theme. And so to know that that was the book that I read with him before this is just, I still can't peg the word for it, but it helps me remind myself how much I should value my life and how much I should just hug my loved ones and really just enjoy what I have. So there's that. But yeah, I thought I would start with my historical fiction and my classics and like older, like modern classics, that kind of genre first, and then I might do romances in a separate video. That's kind of how my book hauls usually go, and I think it seems to work with everyone because if you're interested in a specific genre, you can go to that video instead, and then the book haul isn't, an hour long. So yeah, let's do that. So there's no particular order to this. If I remember how I got these books, I will share, but there really is no order to it. So I'm just gonna go from the top of the pile and work my way through with them. So here we go. So the first book is the one I got very recently at a library book sale. Like they had a corner of the library dedicated to books that they wanted to sell, and this caught my eye. This is The Scarlet Pimpernel by Amuska Orczy. I'm not sure if that's how you say the last name, but I loved this picture on the front too, and just this beautiful naked hardback edition of it. I've never read this book. It's one that's on my list. I love the movie. Like, I grew up watching that movie and with Jane Seymour, and it's so good. I don't know how accurate it is to the book, like if the adaptation is done well. So if you guys have read the book and seen the movie, let me know, because I'm very curious. But yeah, so I got this, thought it was beautiful. I think it was $1. So yeah. Okay, the next book And this is actually bittersweet too, because I remember Scott messaging me about this book when I posted about it on my Instagram. So this is Swan's Way by Proust. So this beautiful edition, by the way, I have I think one or two others in this edition on my shelves. Penguin Drop Caps is what the edition is. But yeah, this is the first book in his series. Guys, I don't know anything. I feel so ignorant about Proust. I should look up more about him. I was hearing more about him. I think it was through Steve Donahue. And I don't think he's like the biggest fan. But I also think it's one of those books that like you either love or hate. And so yeah, I really want to try him out, at least. I know it's a translated work, like he's a French author. In Search of Lost Time, that is the series. So yeah, Swan's Way is a standalone from what this little intro says. Like it's part of the series, but it can be read as a standalone. So anyways, I just can't get over this edition. The blue sprayed edges. I mean, even the like actual font, I just think is really beautiful and easy to read. So there's that. And translated by Lydia Davis. So, okay, so there's that book. So loud, I'm sorry. It's just my life. Okay, the next book is also a beautiful edition. And one I just couldn't resist when I saw it at Barnes & Noble, and that is Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne, and it's in these beautiful Harper Muse painted collections. So let me show you how beautiful these are. I have Anne of Green Gables. Do I have Anne of Green Gables, or is that one still on my list to buy? I know I have a couple other ones. Oh, I have Persuasion and Little Women. I do not have Anne yet, but that's because it recently came out, so it was full price. But if you wait like 6 months to a year, they go down in price, at least on Amazon, so I'll wait. But yeah, I mean, and then it says in the back in gold letters right here, a little consideration, a little thought for others makes all the difference. Yeah, I'm just happy to own this and really would love to read it with my kids at some point. I think that would be fun, but I wouldn't want them to ruin the books. So we'll see when that happens. But like, it's got all the classic illustrations in here too. So yeah, very happy to own this as well. Okay, the next book is an author that I have recently read for the first time. Absolutely loved it. Like the most stunning writing I've read so far this year, for sure. And that is Willa Cather. This one is The Song of the Lark. This is not the book I read. I read O Pioneers, but I saw this at the library book sale. Immediate buy. Like, I actually have been looking for this book, like when I go to bookstores, because I'm still just in awe of her writing. It's amazing. She's an American author who writes about the frontier, about the plains, specifically like in O Pioneers, it's Nebraska, and just the way she describes the land and like how devastating it can be, but also how life-giving it can be, and how it gives people in her stories purpose. It's so good. And it was a perfect book for like right in the middle of the heat of summer, which is where I'm at right now in Arizona. So hot. So yeah, I found this book and immediately wanted to buy it, especially because it's a Signet classic and I collect these as well. So yes, yeah, I'm so happy to own this. So there's this one. Okay, next one is also an obvious choice for me. It was a Colleen McCullough book that was 25 cents, and that is The Grass Crown. This is the second book in the Rome series she wrote. I still haven't read it. I cannot believe that. But yeah, this is like a saga in ancient Rome, about two men vying for power, and I think they were originally friends, and then they end up being enemies, and it's a whole situation. And yeah, so I mean, it's in great condition, and I just couldn't pass it up. So yeah, here we are. There's this one. Okay. The next one is an interesting choice. It's a Signet classic, so that's, I'm sure, why I picked it up. It's called Main Traveled Roads by Hamlin Garland. Love the cover. And let me read the back because I truly can't remember. Like, I remember that it's about the frontier as well, but let's see. In the summer of 1887, after having been 3 years in Boston, I found myself with money enough to pay my railway fare to South Dakota, where my father and mother were living. Struck by the endless drudgery and the loneliness of the farmer's lot, my mind teemed with subjects for fiction, and one Sunday morning, I set to work on the series of sketches which became Main Traveled Roads. That they were true of the farms of that day, no one knew better than I, for I was there, a farmer. So, yeah, very fitting for the whole frontier farmer thing that I've been kind of really into recently. So there's this one. It sounds like, I guess it's more just like short, like he said, sketches. So that's going to be interesting. It's not an actual like novel. So there's that. This is a giant book, like absolutely enormous. It's Sacagawea by Anna Lee Waldo. I have another book by her on my shelves. I also want to read that. That one I can't remember the title of, but it's about a specific person in history. Oh my gosh, now I can't remember it. I can't remember it. But anyways, I think this is her like crowning glory. Like, this is what people have read if they've read her. And obviously it's about this amazing historical figure in American history. This is a novel, so it's not going to be completely accurate. It's not going to be, you know, a biography. But from what I hear from other people who have read Anna Lee Waldo, this is an incredible book. It's huge though. So like, this would literally take me probably 2 months straight to read. Especially with the pace I'm reading now, in the busyness of my life. But when I tell you that I specifically look for paperbacks this thick when I go to the bookstore, like that, I do that. I love mass market paperbacks that are ginormous. Like, it's my thing. So yeah, I saw this, had to get it. The spine is not even cracked. It had to happen. So yes, here we are with this one. The next one is called Fall on Your Knees by Anne Marie MacDonald. And this one is a family saga that was recommended to me. Let's read the back. The Piper family is steeped in secrets, lies, and unspoken truths. At the eye of the storm is one secret that threatens to shake their lives, even destroy them. Set on stormy Cape Breton Island off Nova Scotia, Fall on Your Knees is an internationally acclaimed multi-generational saga that chronicles the lives of four unforgettable sisters. Theirs is a world filled with driving ambition, inescapable family bonds, and forbidden love. Sounds amazing. This is like the whitest paper I've ever seen. So that's kind of cool. But Oprah's book club, I don't know. All these stickers that have book clubs on them, I'm kind of whatever with. I mean, I guess Reese's is pretty cool, but yeah. So there's this book. My husband's laughing at me in the back. He's playing with baby now, so. But yeah, so there's this one. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna say there's this one so many times in this video, so I apologize in advance because I already know I've probably said it like 6 times. So, okay. The next one is, I got this one on Thrift Books, I remember. This is called The Wedding Tree by Robin Wells. I bought this one because it was recommended to me as a really good Southern set book, which is a random niche of mine that I love too. So this is set in modern day Louisiana to World War II New Orleans. It says, Robin Wells weaves a moving epic that stretches from modern day Louisiana to World War II era New Orleans and back again in this multi-generational tale of love, loss, and redemption. Sorry, I struggled reading that. Also, yeah, a family saga. It sounds great. So, yeah, and I remember, I can't remember who recommended it to me, but I immediately, like when I saw and read the plot, I wanted it. So yeah, this one I got. Okay, so the next one is a historical fiction. I should have probably organized these in like historical fiction and classics, so I could have put timestamps for the two, but I forgot. So I apologize that like we're jumping back and forth. But yeah, this next one is The Girl Who Came Home by Hazel Gaynor. I want to say my mother-in-law got me this. No. Krista got me this. I remember it was a book, but I can't, or a gift, but I can't remember who, because I taped the little receipt here. Oh yeah, and this was because I won a giveaway from, oh no, it wasn't a giveaway. It was like a, you share your wish list exchange. And that was on the BookTube Besties retreat. And so everyone who shared their wish list, we round robined it essentially, and you got assigned a person and then someone got assigned you. So, I mean, serendipitously, Krista got assigned to me. So she picked this book out for me, which is very fitting because I know how much she loves Hazel Gaynor. I do too. I've read her a few of her other books. I have not read this one. I know this one is set on Titanic though, and that is very exciting to me. So it says, a voyage across the ocean becomes the odyssey of a lifetime for a young Irish woman. So amazing. Thank you, Krista, for getting this for me. Very, very sweet of you and very fitting for both of our tastes. Okay. The next one is, it's actually, I guess, a nonfiction. It's like more like a travel memoir, but I really didn't know how to fit it into the various categories here. So I just kind of lumped it into this general one. But that is A Fine Romance by Susan Branch. I got 2 copies of this because I wanted to give one to my mother-in-law who loves the English countryside. And I knew she would love this book because she's a huge traveler. Like they just barely a couple days ago got back from traveling all around Croatia, and like the corresponding islands and stuff. An absolutely beautiful place, by the way. I was like, they were showing us pictures, somewhere I want to go for sure. But anyways, let's circle back to England. So yeah, so this is a very, I think it's a kind of a BookTube darling, of just a woman who's an outsider. She's from America, I believe, and she goes to the English countryside for a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, and it's like just her like pictures and kind of journal entries of where her travels. So sounds amazing. It's gonna make me super travel hungry, I'm sure, but that's, I'm sure, the point. So it's just a beautifully like composed book too. Like I'm just in awe of it. So I feel like this would be a really good like coffee table book if I had one, but that won't happen for a long time. Okay, so we're gonna jump back to classics now. The next book is one that I still can't believe. I feel like I've read it, but at the same time I feel like I haven't. It's definitely a show I love, North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. Yeah, the TV series with Richard Armitage, 10 out of 10. Like, it's top 3 movies for me, or like movie/TV, whatever. It's so good. And this edition, I just can't get over, like the silhouette here with the mill in the background. Yeah, I actually bought this from Waterstones. RIP Book Outlet, or not Book Outlet. Oh my gosh, I just literally have forgotten the name of it already, but the bookstore that you could buy international editions from. Anyways, yeah, I wanted this edition specifically, and I want to read it to remind myself if I've read it. I feel like I have, but at the same time, like, I don't remember. So anyways, yeah, so there's this one. There we go again. I said it again. Okay. This one I bought because of a booktuber I love, and it's Roz from Books on My Bookshelf, I think is her channel name. I'll link it down below. I love her recommendations. She does like seasonal recommendations. She does like very just amazing lists of recommended reading that I can relate to, and I feel like she really grasps the sense of whatever list she's making. I wish I could make a good recommendations list like she does, because yeah, anyways. But she was doing a spring reading list, and she brought this book up and this edition up, Mariana by Monica Dickens. And first of all, let's just like revel in this cover. It's so pretty. This is the Persephone Classics edition, and I learned this from Roz. Maybe it's common knowledge, but Monica Dickens is actually Charles Dickens' granddaughter, and she ends up picking up a pen and writing herself, so that's really cool. But yeah, I guess it's like a coming of age story from what I understand, and that's kind of another reason why Roz recommended it, because she kind of associates spring with you know, coming of age stories, or like, you know, a spring into life kind of idea. So anyways, it sounds great. And yeah, I had to hunt out this edition too because it's absolutely beautiful. So there's that one. This one I found at a little free library in my neighborhood. There's one by the pool, like by the clubhouse, that you know, is part of my neighborhood's general amenities. And I found this there, a beautiful edition from like the vintage edition of The Name of the Rose by I can't say this name, Umberto Eco. I have never read him. I want to know if people out there would recommend him. I know for sure that he's recommended by a couple like classicists that read him, or that read classics heavily. But is he accessible for someone who reads classics but lighter classics? I don't know. Anyways, I mean, it was free, right? So like I had to pick it up because it's beautiful and it's like in amazing condition. But please let me know what you think of this book if you've read it. I would love to hear. Okay, the next one is actually one I bought in light of Jennifer Brooks, who also was a booktuber who passed away recently. Really, really hard to get through that as well. But she's read Ivanhoe by Sir Walter Scott, and I remember her talking about it and how much she enjoyed it. And I can't remember what kind of, was it in a vlog or a recommendation like video? I really can't remember, but I did see this at Half Price Books and wanted to buy it and read it for her. And complete and unabridged in this beautiful edition. Yeah, I've never read Walter Scott, But yeah, another mass market paperback, giant, couldn't resist. Okay, the next one is a random find. That is The Valley of the Moon by Jack London. I heard about Jack London via Steve Donahue, who was talking about him with, I think, with his friend Sam Sykes. And anyways, from what I remember, Jack London is also kind of like frontiersman, or like he writes about the frontier. I believe this is a beautiful edition, by the way. It's old. I found it in this vintage bookstore I like to go to a lot. They have old books like this that they like put the covering around, like they take care of. Obviously it's got a rip here, but they take care of it and they sell them for very affordable prices. So this one though, it says, the story opens in the city slums where Billy Roberts, teamster and ex-prize fighter, and Saxon Brown, laundry worker, meet and love and marry. It ends out in the open country where, in contact with the soil, Billy and Saxon find new life and new hope. They have courage and strength and faith when they start life together, but the grinding forces of industrialism are almost too much for them. It is the strain of pioneers' grit that brought their ancestors across the mountains that saves them. They too become pioneers and go out from San Francisco to discover California. They tramp from one end of the state to the other, and in the Valley of the Moon, find the farm paradise that is to be their salvation. That's my husband blowing raspberries, I promise. Oh my gosh, yeah, okay. I don't think I'll cut that. I think we'll keep it in. Okay, I can't even remember what I was saying, but this sounds really good. It sounds like a book for me, in every sense of the word. So, I mean, and I want to know when this book was published, specifically. 1913. That's an old book. But I love reading old books. Absolutely love it. So, love the font. Anyways, very excited about this. Let me know if you've read Jack London. I would love to hear your thoughts on him as an author, because I know little to nothing, so it just sounded like a really good story. Okay. Another series I found at this vintage bookstore, and again, also that I heard about from Steve Donahue, is A Dance to the Music of Time, and I bought it in these editions. I wish I could show you like how beautiful. Let's see, how can I do this? Oh, sorry, one sec. I'm trying to like arrange them. So they come in these spines that like all interweave, and the same is true of the covers. So here's the first movement, and then the second movement, the third movement, and the fourth movement. So this is a series of 4, but within each book is like multiple like installments of books, and they're obviously giant. But I got this whole series for $28, and I looked up on Amazon how much one of these is. $22. So like a really good deal. But yeah, so this is A Dance to the Music of Time by Anthony Powell. And basically it's a story of a group of friends set in the 1920s and 1930s in England, and it's just capturing their lives over time, and it's obviously epic in scope. I'm sure it probably covers like multiple generations, but it's also, I think, talking about different lives in like different classes. Like I think one of the friends has a very privileged life, one does not, and kind of how they go about their lives, and probably the war, I would assume too. Yeah, it's a panorama of life in England between the wars. Perfect. Absolutely. That is, I love books set in that time. Obviously I love books set in the wars too, but like the interwar period is also a favorite of mine, and anything set in England as well. So yeah, so we got this giant stack here that I'm gonna have to figure out how to fit somewhere. But and read, like this would literally take me a year probably, like if I did not stop. It would take me maybe half a year. But okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I forgot about the books on the floor. 10 plus books to cover here. So we're gonna keep going with classics because that's what we've been covering recently. So the next one is one I like. Every time I see it, it makes me happy. It's Adventures in English Literature. This was at that vintage bookstore I told you guys about. And why does this just make me so happy? Like, it says it's like not a template. What's the word? Book plate, that has someone's obviously, had this probably for school. It looks like more of an academic book. I don't know. What is it about this book that just makes me like giddy inside? But it's printed in 1931, and it basically just goes over the periods of history, and you know how that affected the writing of the time, and the famous works of the various, periods. So like it starts with the Anglo-Saxon period, then it goes to the Middle English period, the Elizabethan age, the Puritan and Restoration period, the 18th century, the Age of Romanticism, the Victorian age, the 20th century, and then obviously it has just, like various poems or like clips from, not clips, what is the word I'm looking for? They've just kind of cut a piece of a work and put it in. And part of me really wants to read something like this cover to cover, just because it would give me a real education into literature, capital L. And I haven't really had that kind of class since college. I was an English major originally when I started college, but it became apparent to me as I went through my first year that I hated the writing classes because they were so subjective to that specific professor's preference. Like, it was all about whether that person liked your writing, and like obviously that's fair because it's a writing class and it's the professor who's teaching it, but it kind of drove me crazy. And then at the same time, this is a story, but at the same time I took, because I wanted to get a business minor, I took a general accounting class, and loved that I could walk out of the testing center and know my score immediately, and it was a fair score based on how I did on the test. There's no subjectivity at all, and I loved that because I could shoot for 100% and actually get it. So anyways, long story short, I ended up switching to accounting, and here we are. But I never lost that love of literature and wanting to learn more about that, and so I feel like this would scratch that itch for me. So that's why I got this. Okay, so let's keep going. The next is a modern classic, a modern really like epic family saga, and that is Roots by Alex Haley, the saga of an American family. This is a story of like African American, like originally, like it starts I think in with someone who's in slavery, enslaved, and then goes from there. And yeah, so it captures a Black family through multiple generations, which is fascinating, something I definitely am very undereducated in. I will just admit that now. And I think that this would be a good education for me. I know it's won multiple awards. I feel like it's even won the Pulitzer, or I guess it's received special citations from the Pulitzer, but maybe it didn't win it. I'm not sure. There's the author right there. And this is also very white paper, but it's huge, and I feel like it would just be an enthralling story, and really something that I've never read about, to be quite honest. And so yeah, I feel like it would be amazing. Let me know if you guys have read this. I would love to hear. And, you know, if you have, what are your thoughts? So yeah, there's this one. Okay, another modern classic, and one I've hauled in different editions. This is literally, I think, my 3rd edition, but it's the one I wanted. And that is The French Lieutenant's Woman by John Fowles. I am like almost 100% sure I had this edition at some point, but somehow got rid of it. I don't know. But yeah, this is the edition I've been looking for, and I found it, I think at Half Price Books one day. But yeah, another thick one. And it says, in a feat of seductive storytelling, John Fowles immerses us in the emotionally charged world of a Victorian love triangle, and through a startling act of literary invention, reveals the image of modern man reflected in the past. The French Lieutenant's Woman is perhaps the most beloved of Fowles' internationally best-selling novels. It is universally regarded as a modern classic. And from what I hear, this is kind of the similar writing style of, or not similar writing style, but like kind of a, if you've read the Forsyte Saga and you need something similar, this is the book. That's what I've kind of done my research to try to find other books similar to it, because as you guys know, the Forsyte Saga was my favorite book of last year. So maybe you don't know that because I haven't filmed a video telling my favorite books of 2023 yet. Sadly, I need to do that. Anyways, yeah, the Forsyte Saga was number 1. And so I've been trying to find similar books to read, and yeah, so I got this one, and I honestly think this might be my next read after I finish the other book I'm reading. I'm that like eager to read it. So there's this. A classic, and one that really needs no introduction. That is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This is my twin sister's, one of her favorite books of all time. I know it's probably a favorite of many people's. I have never read it. I for some reason, my sister was required to read it throughout her schooling, but I wasn't. I don't know how that happened. I think it's like once we hit middle school, like junior high and high school, we took different courses, obviously, and so somehow it missed my required reading, and I really want to get to it. I found this at a little free library, the same one in my neighborhood, in this really stunning edition, and so I picked it up. And actually, I think it's part of my mother-in-law's book club. She runs a book club, and I think this is the book that they've picked for next January. Like, she literally plans it out a year in advance every single month. So but yeah, so here it is, and I probably will read it for then, and I'm sure love it. The next 6 books is a series. This series I found the set of at that vintage bookstore I absolutely love, and for a very, very fair price, and that is the Barsetshire, oh my gosh, I can't say it, the Barsetshire Chronicles, or novels, by Trollope. So yeah, here's the 6 books. It's in the Oxford, what are these called? The Oxford like press editions. I think they're so small and so easy to hold. I have these same editions for the first 2 in the Palliser series by him. And so when I saw this whole set at that bookstore, I wanted it, even though I literally I don't have any room on my shelves. This is a problem, but I'll figure it out. It's a good problem to have. But yeah, so here's the first one, The Warden. Very, very high on my list to read. I really want to, and get the ball rolling with this series. The next one, sorry for all the noises. The next one is the Barchester Towers, which is, I think, the kind of the most famous of this series. So there's this one, Dr. Thorne. And sorry for the weird lighting. Let me see if I can fix it. That's way better. So there's Dr. Thorne. I'm just being surrounded by books right now. They're just coming, they're encroaching on me. The next one, Framley Parsonage. I've never heard of this one. That's interesting. The Small House at Allington. And the last one, The Last Chronicle of Barset. So, yeah, there's all of the 6 books in that series that I'm so happy that I have a full set in. Okay, the next 5 are all historical fiction. They're all World War I/II historical fiction, and yeah, these are the last 5 books in this haul, and then we will cut it. My husband's like, yes. Okay, so the next one I got in Thailand at a English bookstore, and that is The Burning Blue by James Holland. I saw the cover with the plane, classic, and I was like, okay, this has got to be a World War II book. And it's very random. I've never heard of this author. I got it for 150 baht. But let me read the back. So it says, Joss Lambert has always been a loner, constrained by a secret from his past, until he finds friendship and solace firstly with Guy Liddell, a friend from school, and then with Guy's family, who welcome him into their farmhouse home. Joss increasingly comes to depend on the Liddells and treats Alveston Farm as the one place where he feels not only appreciated, but also truly happy. The idle cannot last. With war looming, Joss is forced to confront the past. He escapes through flying, becoming a fighter pilot in the RAF. But with the onset of war, even the Liddells' world is crumbling. As Joss is fighting for his life in the Battle of Britain, so he begins to fall madly in love with Stella, Guy's twin, but with tragic consequences. Leaving England and the Liddells far behind, he continues to fly amid the sand and heat of North Africa until his hopes and dreams are seemingly shattered for good. Dun dun dun. It sounds so good. So good. I'm a little concerned about the, I feel like this is is this an onset of mold? I'm not sure, the speckling here on the pages. Y'all will have to let me know if that's true. I mean, I don't it doesn't smell or anything, but it's definitely also seen better days. But yeah, there's this one. The next one is just because I needed an actual edition of it that I haven't had yet, and that is The Book Thief. This is a book I read last 2 years ago, 2022, I want to say. Stunning, 5 stars. I loved it. Amazingly written historical fiction. I recommend this to people who don't read historical fiction. This is so top tier, just excellent. I listened to the audiobook, which I also recommend, but at some point in my life I will read the physical edition, because I know there's here there's stuff that I'm missing from just reading it. Oh, wait, what's in here? Guys, I love finding things in books that I didn't know were in there. Oh, it says it's like a printing of a poem, I guess. Bittersweet Books, inspired by The Book Thief. If you want to, you can read it. I'm not sure if this is just like a student's writing or what. I have no idea. I'll have to read that. That is awesome. Occasionally I do find stuff in these books, especially from that vintage bookstore, because it just seems to be a place where book lovers end up, like their books end up, if that makes sense. Like this says Becky 1209 excellent, and I would agree 100% with that. Yeah, love this book. Hey baby, you're okay. Mama's almost done. 3 more books. 3 more books. Okay, the next one, I got this at a library book sale. This is The Summer Before the War. From what I know, this is a World War I novel. And yeah, East Sussex, 1914. And I know nothing else about it except that it's like set in like a small town, I want to say. And it follows one girl throughout the story. It sounds good. And it's the first book in a series, I think. So if I like this one, I think there's a couple more that I can read. So yeah. And then I think I got this for $1 too. Okay, 2 more books. The last one, The Land of My Dreams. No, not the last one. Sorry, second to last one. The Land of My Dreams by Cynthia Harrod Eagles. This is the 3rd book in this series. I still have yet to read the 2nd book. I read the 1st book though and absolutely love it. That was this one right here, Goodbye Piccadilly. So good. It is World War I family saga, Downton Abbey vibes all the way. Like it's all about kind of the old world of having, you know, upstairs, downstairs kind of being disintegrating, I guess, and the lines being a lot more gray. And then obviously this family adapting to the goings on of the war. And yeah, highly recommend, especially if you love this series here, Elizabeth Jane Howard's, oh, right here, sorry, that was a really bad, right here. If you guys have read this series and you liked it, this is next on your plate. It is so similar, very, very similar vibes. So yeah, so I got the 3rd book because I know I'm gonna read them all. And then the last book, guys, last book is Beneath a Starless Sky by Tessa Harris, a novel of World War II. And I know this is like a star-crossed lovers, like both on opposite sides of the war situation. So that is like popcorn to me. Like that is, I love that. I love that story. And yeah, I guess it's set in Munich, 1930. So yeah, there's this one. Okay, that is everything. That is all the books for this part of the book haul, the largest part for sure. 50 minutes in, oh my gosh. Classics, historical fiction, family sagas, we got it all. I really hope you enjoy this video. Yeah, please let me know if you have any thoughts on any of these books. I would love to hear. And I will be sharing the link to that GoFundMe that I talked about in for Scott. That, yeah, I really want to just kind of spread the word with that. But again, I thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye.